Good morning. Today I thought I would do a little bit of a get ready with me singing edition where I go through all of the exercises that I do on a daily basis. Especially since I've been home and I've been doing a lot of recording, I do this every day and it's a lot, so buckle in. For our first exercise, we're going to start off with something really gentle, and it doesn't get much gentler than straw phonation. I think that's what it's called. I'm going to use my little singing device thing, but before I had this, for months, I was just using a nice rubbery straw, so something wide like this, inside a cup of water, okay, and you just fill it to about there. Definitely keep in mind I'm not a singing instructor, I've just been to singing lessons and this is what I remember, so do with that what you will. But basically for the straw phonation exercises I'm going to show you, this is the technique I recommend. So you want to have about this much of the straw in your mouth. It doesn't really matter, just wherever feels comfortable. The important thing is that you really need to relax your cheeks, okay? Basically for these exercises, I just play a scale and hum the scale into the straw. So that looks like this. Notice my cheek is vibrating. That is what you want. The vibration means that your cheeks are relaxed, so if you're not seeing the vibration, that probably means you're doing something wrong. So I like to start on some nice chest voice stuff because that's quite gentle, and the exercises I'm about to show you are called delineation. Ascending delineation sounds like this. Ah. Descending sounds like this. Ah. And that was probably by a whole tone. You'll also see that I do it by a semitone as well. So I'm going to do all four. I can't share the whole exercises, but just notice the pattern that you're picking a note, doing your delineation on that note, then going up to the next note, doing delineation, and then it will continue that way. So just do a whole octave. And then very important, come back down the octave. Now that we have the chest voice warmed up, we can start working on our high end. And how I like to kind of transition into that is do some free siren. So I don't listen to anything, I just sit here for a couple of minutes doing this. So notice I'm starting with a chest voice and I'm increasing my pitch until I eventually pass through the vocal bridge and into my head voice. And the vocal bridge is something that kind of sounds like a gear change. You know, you're changing gears from your chest voice to your head voice, and it can often be like very abrupt and not smooth at all. But and actually for me that is one of the things I really struggle with. Doing it in the straw is actually really helpful because of how the pressure and the airflow works. It actually assists your vocal cords in closing properly so that you can get that smoother transition. So this next one is a 5-note scale.
Skate effortless.
As you can imagine, this keeps getting higher. It actually gets so high that I can't even do it anymore, so I just wait until it starts to turn around and then I go back down with it. Okay, now to our more traditional scales. I'm going to do the major pentatonic scales and then the minor harmonic scales. Okay, enough of this. Time for some real stuff. What we're actually going to do next is technically warm-up exercises, but I found that they were too harsh on my voice first thing in the morning, and the straw was much more gentler. But now we are all warmed up and we're ready to go. With this first one, you can either use an M sound, or an NG sound, and it goes like this. Usually I do that one and then I do it again with the NG sound. So next I do my dark R exercise. And all of these exercises, if they go up to start with, then they go back down, and if they go down to start with, they will go back up. The next exercise I do is a head voice exercise with a G. Goo. 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 Moving on to my ya-ya exercise. It's called balance check. Ya, 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 ya. Ya, 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 ya. Ya, 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 ya. So I usually do this one and then do it again with a slower version. And then finally for the warm exercises, this is the last one. You can do this with an M sound or an NG sounds. With an NG sound. Okay, we just have 3 left now, but these ones were specifically tailored to me because they have to do with pharynx placement, which is something I need to work on. So this first one is supposed to be in the sound of a French oh, and it's fairly new, so I don't know if I'm doing it right, but bear with me.
Ladies, your turn. Notice this exercise frees up the vibrato. Your sustained note should feel light.
Then we have this denasal exercise that I really struggled with for a while. Let's see how I go.
Now it's your turn, starting with the ladies. Now, just because you're singing louder with more power doesn't mean you're singing heavy. This should feel light on the.
Okay, this is the last one, but it's also my worst. Okay.
Don't worry if you hear a break in your voice. Eventually, it will smooth over.
So yeah, you heard the break, and as it gets higher, there's just more and more breaks for me because my bridge is something that I struggle with. But that is all of the exercises I do in a day at the moment, and I hope you enjoyed this, and hopefully it was helpful in some way.